Welcome to the Leafy Podcast, helping real estate investors and entrepreneurs grow. Say hello to your hosts, Jennifer Gligoric and Brian Price, founders of Leafy Legal Services, teaching you how to protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth. Let's start the show.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Leafy Podcast. I'm Tammy, the podcast manager, and on the line with me today is Jennifer Gligoric, the COO of Leafy Legal Services. And we have a little bit of a different episode for you today. We actually aren't going to have a guest on. It's just going to be the two of us talking because we have some very interesting topics that we wanted to cover. So first, let's just say hello to Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Hey, Leafy podcasters. Yeah, originally we wanted to do more episodes that was just us talking about regular topics. And then we just got really busy and into everything. So I told Tammy, I was like, hey, I know we have a lot on our plate, and we do right now. A lot of people are looking for asset protection. And with all the crazy times, I have a lot of investors wanting to shore up the structures they have or just get a free consult, so I can look at it and say, yeah, you're good to go. And some people are. But I just think it's fun. And I need a little bit of fun. A lot's going on right now. And I think we need to have a little bit of fun. So Tammy has questions for me, and I'm not sure of all the questions. So I think I'm able to answer them all, but we're going to see. We're going to see. So go ahead. Yeah. What are these questions?
Let's see. Here we go. All right. Okay. So first of all, I went to Reddit and I found some top trending topics for real estate investors. I thought that might be something very interesting for our crowd. So, okay, first question, here we go. All right, where do you network and meet other real estate investors?
Well, normally there's a million ways you can do this, and now it's gotten a little odd because now we're doing everything on Zoom. But the good thing is, okay, so traditionally you're going to want to go to you can go to your chamber. That's always like a really good resource. Nobody thinks about it. You think about it, only business owners, but actually that's a great way to go because you're meeting builders and you're meeting a lot of the people that you're going to want to network with to build your team. So I highly suggest just to doing that. There's also the real estate investor associations around the country. Bigger Pockets. We're huge fans of Bigger Pockets. Yeah, there's a lot of noise on Bigger Pockets, but they have incredible communities there. They have forums. You can ask questions, and then you can also search for things like Houston BP or Atlanta BP, and you can put that in, and there are investors that are usually, top tier investors, or they're looking to get groups and meet other investors, and a lot of them can be very educational. I know the Houston one, which I'm a part of here, I've went to some incredible meetups, and I've met some really great people. So there's Bigger Pockets, there's Connected Investors, and now you can find a lot of virtual ways to meet people. So before, it was like, okay, well, I live here in Galveston, so that's a pretty good hop, skip, and a jump away from where most people are going to meet downtown. But now, because of quarantine, they're doing virtual meetup groups and stuff like that. So really just do an online search. But you want to steer to more established ones at first because they're more apt to have the better investors where you can get the best, I guess, quality of information with that. So start out with Bigger Pockets, your local chamber of commerce, and then real estate investor associations that are established in the area, and see if you can join some of those. And that's more than enough to start out with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so I was able to answer one question. Ding, all right. Ding! I get a little prize, which is I'm going to drink from my water jug. There we go. Okay, go ahead.
That's water. All right, so another question we had from the Reddit crowd is rent to retire legit?
Yes, absolutely. There are so many different strategies. You just have to work it and do the education for it. Really, with anything, when anyone asks me is this real, I'm going to say yes, with the caveat you want to research a little bit. You want to make sure you know who that person is. And if you already have somebody you respect in the industry who has a good network, or if you have a podcast you follow that's really great, like Joe Fairless has a really great podcast, right? Entrepreneurs on Fire, they have a great podcast. You have Rod Khalif, there's a great podcast. You have Leafy Podcast. Go and reach out to them and say, I'm a new investor, I'm interested in this, and I want to know, who do you know? Maybe that person's been on their show before and you can get a personal introduction. I just did that this week for a brand new investor. He's in his 20s and he heard Mitch Stevens, who does 1000houses.com. Mitch is also in the San Antonio area, but it doesn't matter where you're at. What he does is he goes into neighborhoods and he finds houses where, and he has a very special formula, and you have to go to him to find out what that formula is. And he's able to work that math out to where this distressed property or regular property plus a rehab will be the same payment as the average apartment or average rent. And that's with usually about 10 grand down or 10% in interest. And so some people are like, man, but interest rates are so low right now. Yeah, but if you're a renter stuck in renting and you don't have the best credit and you can get out of renting, that's an incredible deal. So there is an entire untouched market about this. So going back to that, is this valid? Is this not valid for that? Yes, you need to meet the right people. And I was able to get a personal introduction. I said, hey, Mitch, this is this guy. This is what he's doing. You need to listen to Mitch. You're going to have to make a commitment. Usually if you're asking for advice, they have a program and they can help you. And it's usually time, money, and effort. Not everything is free. The free stuff, you're going to take a lot of research to do it. If you want help with it, well, there's an investment with that. So always know that as well. I don't know if that completely answered your question, but there you go.
I think so. Yeah. So,
okay.
Renting to retire is legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Another question is, this person is from Australia, and they said, where do I go to purchase property in the U.S.? I've heard that USA has 10% returns versus the 3% we get here in Australia.
Yeah. A lot of people don't realize that for us, we're going to go, for Americans, we're going to look for tax havens that are in Belize, the Cook Islands. Panama is unusually hot right now. And we have, who is that? Rocky Rydell with the Rydell Law Firm. And he deals with asset protection and trusts and getting people, to where they can invest in other places and really, truly diversify their income. But for everyone else in the rest of the world, their tax haven is property in the U.S. So you just need to meet the right person. So I would say for that person, probably contact Rocky Rydell. They bring people over all the time to invest. That would be a great gateway person for that. And I know he does that. And that's where you start. You want to find an attorney or you want to find a real estate professional, and you're going to want to vet them who is used to helping foreign investors. It's a very hot market, and it is there. It's there for other people, right?
Yeah. Awesome.
You know what I mean? Go ahead. Not rehearsed and not schooled, so I might stumble, but y'all are just going to have to deal.
No, that was a good one. That was a good answer. All right, let's see. I am renting out my first property. Any words of advice?
Yes. Make sure that you do it anonymously. You do not want to have your name on that contract whatsoever. You want to make sure that the contract is done and it's anonymous, and that you have a standard lease agreement, and that you get all your due diligence done with that. Due diligence can be the background and the credit check. You don't want to rent a family without doing it. And so when you sign a document with your anonymous entity, and of course I can really go way far into that. So how you do business needs to be separated from you. And one of the best ways to do it, and you can do this in any single state in the country. So if you're in Georgia, you can have a Georgia Anonymous LLC, and we'll just call it, I like to use Orion Management, just because that's so generic, right? So Orion Management is going to be the manager of that property. And when you sign the agreement, you would sign Jane Doe, comma, designated agent or comma manager. No one has to know you own that or that you even own the property. You want to make sure your name is not on that property. So you want to put layers of protection so that if there is a lawsuit, that person is going to have a strong suit against you. So it doesn't stop people who if you've harmed someone, then you have to pay for that. That is the fair and equitable thing to do it. So if you lie to them and you don't tell them there's lead paint in the nursery, Well, that's not right. That's not fair. Don't do those things, and you're going to have to pay for that. However, if this is just someone walking across the street who wants to trip and fall because their entire life is suing other people for cash, you want to have a big fence around it, lights, cameras, and everything else to prevent that. And one of the best ways to prevent it is have the right anonymity and protection around it. So I highly suggest you do that before you rent. It's well worth it. Even if you're not making much money on the rent, even if you're just starting out, it's tax deductible because it's your structure. It helps you on taxes. Treat your business like a business and assume you're going to be successful and do what successful people do.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
That's it.
Good answer.
Good.
All right. One more.
Okay.
Someone wants to know about estate plans, and they say, like, who is it for? Do I need one? Like what exactly would be the greatest purpose of getting an estate plan for anyone?
Really, those are good questions on Reddit. I need to get on Reddit more because I'm like, oh man, I could be, but then I would stay all day on Reddit. Like I do that on Bigger Pockets too. I just want to stay on it and answer questions, and the phone's ringing with actual people wanting to talk to me. I'm like, wait, I have to answer this, so anyway, but these are very good questions. Well, you have to look at, most people are used to last will and testaments, and a last will and testament has its place, and it's great for when you die. The only problem with last wills is it's in 2020. So I'm talking about currently. Maybe not historically how it is, but right now is different than other times. So currently, right now, wills are pretty easy to contest. Parts of it can be rendered invalid. There can be confusion over the wording of how things are written that can cause that to go to probate. The last thing you want is for your will or your estate plan to go into probate, and the state comes in and then they decide what to do with your money, because they charge your estate for that. And, I'm sure that there are some excellent probate people out there in the state that are very competent and quick and efficient. But I've never, ever had anyone say, man, we're so glad the state came in and they did that probate. They were so reasonable and they really fixed everything. Right? Usually you hear it took forever. By the time they were done, a significant portion of the liquid cash was gone because they had to get paid for that. And it was just such a process. And that's not really, I know dad wouldn't have been happy with it, or mom, right? So there are ways to avoid that, and ways to avoid that is with a good estate plan. And a good estate plan is going to have a living trust. You're going to have a pour over will. You're going to have advanced healthcare directive, medical power of attorney, and durable power of attorney. Because a estate plan, when done correctly, especially for real estate investors and entrepreneurs that have assets, is built for someone who has a business where you're gaining assets and selling assets, and for people who are alive, because things happen. For example, they could lift up everything. Okay, so like everything's clear, we're fine, we're going to go on that Alaskan cruise. This just happened this week, right? So they finally lifted up for cruising. And because, there are people who've booked out already for 2021 on these lifetime vacations that they've saved for. And they opened the cruise industry back up, and they put all these stopgap measures on it. Well, guess what? Somebody had Corona, and now there's a quarantine, and it's just like, really? And so what if you were on there? What if you were like, okay, but we're young, we're healthy, we don't have any kids yet. Well, let's say we have one little kid, and we've got these rental properties, and now you're stuck for maybe a month, off the coast of Alaska. You don't have service. Anyone's ever been on a ship? What if you're on one of those inclusive vacation spots somewhere, right? What if it's not something even great like that, where, oh, I'm stuck on vacation, wink, wink, which is not really great because you do run out of money, and that's a problem that has been a problem on all these things. Or you get into a car wreck, right? And now you have this lengthy recovery. Well, normally, if you don't have an estate plan, that's a big problem, because your business is running and people are scrambling to get conservatorship or guardianship over your estate and your affairs so that they can pay your bills, collect rents, answer questions, make sure staff, employees, and contractors are paid, keep projects running so they just completely stop overnight. Can you imagine if your entire business just stopped and nobody's running everything for a month? If you're a real small business, I can feel a lot of you just shuddering right now. I shudder. Like you wouldn't have anything really to come back to, because we're all doing this, the hair of our chinny chin chin. So a great estate plan has all the paperwork you need. So like immediately you have the directives already to keep everything rolling. So it can really make the difference between something you did not prepare for and you're like young and you're thinking it's not going to happen, and being able to recover quite quickly for it. So it's very important.
Yep. Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I was even thinking of that, the cruise ship that was down in the Panama Canal back in May,
Yes.
remember? And they had a couple cases and everyone refused to let them dock. Like no one would even let them come in. So they were just floating around hoping Florida would let them come into the port so they could actually like get people off of the ship. So
yeah, before COVID, there was the cruise ship ban. And I love cruises. I'm a huge cruise fanatic. And so Royal Caribbean, it was Royal Caribbean. It was the New Zealand trip. They had a trip where they had this really incredible excursion that went into a volcanic area. It was an active volcanic area, but it's the cruise lines. They have all this stuff, and then you get a pamphlet and said, this is an active volcano. It's a very active excursion. You have to be able to walk. You have to be able to handle the climbing and other things like that. So automatically the people who went on that are going to be the most fit people. They're going to be young with young kids or very active seniors who are used to working out and being very active. Well, the volcano blew. And over 100 people died. And other people were flown to all parts of the world for life-saving treatments. And some of them were in the hospital for months. Now, if you had an estate plan that had your wishes done, you have a really good chance, if you survive, and you recover, of not coming back to also financial devastation. But that I thought, man, how many people thought, oh, we should do this when we get back. When we get back from our trip, or we can get back because, I got the kids. I still have that old will, and we had to where they go with my brother. And now I don't want him to go with my brother. I mean, he's like really went off the edge, and they should go with Susie, who may be just a neighbor, but maybe your kids are best friends and y'all are best friends and y'all have the same code of ethics and y'all go to the same school. So it just, and you love them and you trust them, right? I mean, nobody can determine these things but you. Imagine coming out from that, and the weird brother who's going down the tubes has the kids, they're in some other school, now they're away from their friends, their whole life has changed, and you're dealing with all this tragedy. So it's important to get an estate plan if you have a business, if you have assets, if you have kids. I would highly suggest going ahead and doing that and taking care of it. And don't think, well, if I just don't do anything, then nothing will happen to me. I heard somebody say that once, and I was like, yeah, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that at all. But, I get you. Like, don't put that juju on me. If I don't think about it, it will not manifest into existence. Okay, no.
Putting it out there in the world.
Yeah, what you need to put out there is everything will be taken care of because I've planned everything, and it will be effortless, and I will be cared for. Don't do that other stuff. So yeah.
Exactly.
Well, these are pretty good questions.
Yeah, I told you.
Was that it?
Yeah, that was all that I mean, there were so many more, but those were the ones that I thought would be good topics to look at. So
I think those were good topics. Mm-hmm. Now we can go back. Before we started, I was showing Tammy TikTok videos because they're going to ban TikTok. And I thought, what's TikTok all about? So, what did I do? I didn't have TikTok, and then I hear they're going to ban them, so I got it just to see, right? And I figure, well, if I don't post anything on it, and I have, there's nothing on it, like they can't really steal all my identity, which is probably stupid. Giant's probably got everything by now, but it's pretty hilarious. Yeah, it was pretty hilarious. Some people are very, very creative, and I like the little challenges. They have one where they ask, it's against a spouse, so it can be your spouse, and so you're supposed to put the phone up and be recording them, but they think you're recording you like a selfie, and then you say, hey guys, so y'all have all been asking me about my fitness routine or my makeup, and you're supposed to act like those influencers act where they talk to all their fans, only it's regular people doing it. And so you're recording your spouse's face as you're sitting there talking like you're some like really famous thing, and the reactions of the spouses are there. I mean, it's hilarious. It's hysterical. One of them, there's a version of it because, now people put their own spin on it and people are very creative. So one lady was like, yes. And so y'all been talking about how my skin is so wonderful. And it's all because of this one cream. And then she named some cream, and I got it over here. And normally it's $750 for an ounce, but I was able to score a discount. It was only $350. That he got up and stopped the whole thing. It was like there were foul language. I'm rolling with laughter because he was having none of that. Right. So the ones like that, I just think they're so funny. And then of course the other spouse is laughing and thinking that's hilarious and stuff like that. It's funny. It's funny. So I can see why people like it, because it is mindless. It is mindless, but then you see some very big creativity. One more, I'll just tell you this before we go because it's funny. Okay, so imagine a city street, a window overlooking the city street of a nice little apartment in some city neighborhood, right? And all you see is the profile of a puppet, right? And the puppet's talking, and so it's the puppet's voice going, man, 2020 is just so crazy. Isn't it just weird that everybody is just so over it that if you were to honestly say, hey, and he does little puppet hands and the face expressions are really cute. Hey, look over there. The trees are eating people. That people would go, yeah, okay. Guess we're doing this now. I don't know why. I just thought it was so funny because it was the puppet was so world weary, and I thought that's really it. Because I live here in Galveston, so we're on the beach, and I've told someone, I was like, a Cthulhu rose from the ocean. That's really how it would be. Well, I guess this is what we're doing now. Because, why not? Let's try it. Anyway, guys, I hope you had fun on our little bit different episode, in that we were still able to give some value, and I answered some questions. And Tammy, let them know how they can ask me more questions. If you want to ask questions, I'm always available. I even do free strategy calls with people, so you can find me. And Tammy's going to tell you how that works.
Yeah. So if you are interested in a free strategy session with Jennifer, you could go to our website. It is leafylegalservices.com. And right there's a form that you just fill out. You can select the day, the time, anything you want. You can add the questions for Jennifer in there. You can select exactly what you're looking for and submit it, and she will contact you right away. Our phone number is also right there on the site. So just go to leafylegalservices.com and you will find us. And if you do have any questions for Jennifer, or if you want to contact me about becoming a guest on our show, or you just have any questions, or have any, questions that you would like us, burning questions from the audience, we would love to hear from you. So just email me at Tammy, Tammy at leafylegalservices.com. And I will get right back to you about that. And of course, listen to us on all the awesome, amazing podcasting platforms that you can find. I always say awesome and amazing. I don't know why. Those are like my fault.
Those are great words. Those are really great words. But she also lost her train of thought. But I think it's hilarious. And we're keeping it. We're keeping it.
Right. Just keep talking and it'll come.
Yeah. If you just keep on rambling, it'll come right out of there. It will. No, you can find us on all social media at the @Leafy Legal. And so if you just put that in, we'll pop up everywhere. And okay. I'll let it. Anyway, that's it. That's it. I'm going to be the one to end this. Okay, love you guys. We'll be back with more incredible guests, questions, and everything else. So you have a great rest of your week. Bye.
Bye, buddy.
Attention real estate investors and entrepreneurs. Did you know that real estate investors are a primary target for lawsuits? According to the National Survey of the Court data, 25% of Americans risk being sued in their lifetime. However, if you are a real estate investor, you have a 95% chance of being sued in the next 20 years. Leafy Legal Services helps you protect your assets and strategically grow your business and wealth. Leafy Legal Services are experts at the Series LLC and Delaware statutory trust, two of the newest and most ideal legal structures for real estate investors. Leafy Legal Services have the most personalized and affordable solutions for setting up LLCs. Property owners are always at risk when it comes to their assets. Anonymity is so important. If you own just a rental house and you own your home, you have to protect yourself and your properties from any potential legal issues. Leafy Legal Services have the right solutions to make sure you are happy and feel secure. They offer cost-effective documentation that suits their clients' needs. For a free consultation and ebook, visit leafylegalservices.com. They are waiting to hear from you. leafylegalservices.com.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Don't wait. Take action now. LeafyLegalServices.com. Protect your assets, grow your business, and manage your wealth.